Good day, class. Today, we'll be discussing the importance and the different requirements for producing cleanup drawings. So this includes also the discussion of the different types of model sheets. Let's go. Okay, let us to start our discussion. Let us first start with the requirements for cleanup drawings. So let us first identify what are the requirements for cleanup drawings. So first we have key animation, layout, exposure sheet, model sheets, storyboard, collecting all relevant model sheets. Alright, so let us discuss the definition of cleanup. Cleanup is a part of the workflow in the production of hand-drawn animation. In traditional animation, the first drawings are called wraps or wraps animation because they are often done in a very loose drawing. If the animation is successfully pencil tested and approved by the director, cleanup of drawings has to be done. The assistant animator or cleanup artist is responsible for the final line and finished look of the shot. So when you say cleanup drawings, these are drawings that are finalized. So normally, nag-start ang isang cleanup to what we call wraps o yung mga drawings na medyo magulo pa. And then, sino ba ang magpafinalize ito? Yung tinatawag natin na cleanup artist. So from what you call wrap drawing, so what they're going to do is to making use of a pencil, either pencil or a pen, they will finalize the details. So, yun ang tinatawag natin ng mga cleanup drawings. So normally, ang gumagawa ng mga cleanup drawings is what we call the cleanup artist. Okay, so let us now move to the requirements for cleanup animations. So ito yung mga drawings that are needed in creating cleanup drawings. Okay, so let us start with key animation. So what is key animation? Key animation are poses drawn by the animator representing the action and narrative required by the scene or sequence. So here's an example of a key drawing. Okay, so as you observe, when you say key animation or key drawings, these are the first action. Yung mga drawings that, like for example, from first movement and then second movement. So these are key poses, like for example, jumping. So yung tinatawag natin yung key poses doon is the character will first anticipate, ibig sabihin, kukuha siya ng puwersa, and then the next key pose is naglanding na siya to the next direction. So those are composed of two drawings, or pwede rin na that these are composed of three drawings. The first one is nagte-take off muna siya, that is the first key drawing. The second key drawing is nasa air na siya, okay, nag-jump na siya, and then the next key drawing is naglanding na siya to the next direction. Okay, let us now move to the next requirement in cleanup animation. We have number 2, layout. So let us define what is layout. A layout is a guide to the positions of the elements in the scene and their relationship or size relationship to each other and to the location of the scene. Well, we have an example of a layout here. So as you can see, nandito yung mga scenes, no? Yung mga tinatawag natin. This is just like a what we call a storyboard. But this one is more particular to the location and the scene, no? Yung size relationship, yung like for example, yung scene biglang lalaki, biglang liliit, okay? What will be the plot of the story or animation? Okay, the next will be number 3. We have what we call the exposure sheet. So what is exposure sheet? Exposure sheet is a chart that shows frame by frame of all drawings of every animated scene. So we already discussed this one, no, on what is an exposure sheet. So ginagamit to parang pinaka-layout ng buong animation series. So ganito yung itsura ng isang exposure sheet. So we'll be having more on this when we are about to make animations, no? Using different applications and traditional animation. Okay, Number 4 requirement is what we call the model sheets. So in this model sheet, it includes turnarounds, expressions, mount, and chart. So a model sheet is a reference sheet of an animator that shows how the character is constructed and how they would pose. So we have an example here of a what we call turn around model sheet. So as you can see, the model is in what we call front. We have the side, we have the 3/4 side, 3/4 back, and the back view of the model sheet. So this is very important, like for example, creating an animation. Of course, in creating animation, the character is oftenly in different poses. Okay, so this model sheet will help you on how to have a correct pose in different turnaround poses, just like what we are seeing in the illustration shown in the screen. Alright, so let us have the next one. The next one is what we call the storyboard. I think you are all familiar with this, the storyboard. So ginagamit to for the sequencing of the storyline. So what is storyboard? Visual narrative of the script in the form of thumbnail, drawings that can be shown the different scenes organized in a sequence of panels. So when you say storyboard, these are what we call sequence of panels, just like for example, on what is shown in our illustration. So makikita natin yung storyboard 1 dyan, storyboard number 2, storyboard number 3, 4, 5, 6. So storyboard is also used for us to use it as a guide, Ano ba yung sequence number 1? Okay? Number 2. So dito, makikita natin yung parang pinaka-map ng ating animation. Okay? So parang comics siya, but the difference is, sa storyboard, it is just a what we call a rough sketch. Ano ba yung umpisa? Ano ba yung pangalawa? Okay? Ano ba yung katapusan ng istorya na gagawin nyo sa animation? Okay? Next requirement in creating clean-up drawings will be collecting all the relevant model sheets. Of course, in creating animation, especially in creating model sheets or what we call the cleanup drawings, it is very important that you have all what we call this important model sheets na ginagamit sa animation. Example here is the character model. Yung tinatawag natin na model sheet, yung pinakita ko kanina sa inyo. Okay? Another is the character expressions. Okay? So, different types of expressions. Like for example, galit man yan, natutuwa, disappointed, etc. etc. So, you should have this what we call character expressions as a model sheet. Okay? Another, yung bukas ng bibig. Okay? Yung pagsasalita ng animation na makukuha natin sa tinatawag ng mouth charts. Another is the character attitude. Okay? So sa character attitude, I think na nakita natin to dun diniscuss natin, yung tinatawag natin na principle of animation, kung paano nagiging nabubuo ang character ng isang animation depende sa itsura niya, depende sa galaw ng kamay, galaw ng paa, facial expressions, at iba pa. Okay. Another is what we call the action breakdown. Okay? So, when we say action breakdown, so there are some animation which needs speed. May mga animations naman na pwedeng pabagalan natin. So, napaka-importante, yung tinatawag natin ng breakdown. Just like what is shown in our illustration, yung dog. Makikita natin to. So, after, ito yung tinatawag natin na key drawings, So, in this illustration, we have 3 key poses, We have the 2 sides, kung saan siya nagsimula. The center is the number 2 pose is the second key pose, and then we have the third. Okay, as you can see here, this one medyo mabagal to. Medyo mabilis to because between key poses, meron lang tayong dalawa. Okay? Kasi sa animation class, tandaan nyo that mas marami yung in-between drawings, mas mabagal. Pero kung gusto nyo ng medyo mas mabilis na kilos ng animation, mas konti yung mga in-betweens. Okay? Next. Okay, what is shown in the drawing is what we call the turnarounds. Okay? So this is just like the model sheet, wherein yung front, side, pero mas marami to. Okay? Alright, so we are done discussing the requirements that are needed for creating clean-up drawings. Okay, so for our next discussion, i-discuss naman natin is what we call the what are the different types of model sheets na ginagamit sa animation. So marami yan, no? So we'll be discussing some of the model sheets na madalas na ginagamit in what we call in the animation industry. So please listen carefully, no? Watch the video carefully because after this discussion, magkakaroon tayo ng mga activities and series of quizzes or examinations. Okay class, so let us now start discussing the different types of model sheets. Okay, so a model sheet, these are the oftenly used model sheets na ginagamit sa animation industry. The first one is what we call the general final line model sheet. Okay, what is this? A single character is portrayed in turnaround drawings that give us a sense of how to draw the character from any angle, along with some expressions, attitude, and action poses. So in the image shown or illustration shown in the screen, so makikita natin dito the possibilities of some actions na ginagawa. So dito sa model sheet na to ay tinawag siyang general fine line. So normally yung mga model sheets na ginagamit natin is gumagamit lang tayo ng mga fine line. So normally these are possibilities of the actions na gagawin ng isang character, which includes the expressions, the attitudes, and the action poses na gagamitin para sa animation. Okay? So normally sa ganitong klase ng model sheet, it is just a single character. Just like for example in our illustration shown, sino ba yung character na to, no? It is Bugs Bunny. So makikita natin in different poses, in different turnarounds, makikita natin yung itsura ni Bugs Bunny dito. But made with what we call final or fine line lang siya. Okay? The next type of model sheet is what we call the rough character concept model sheet. Okay, from the term rough. Hindi mo siya finalized, no? So what is rough character concept model sheet? So it gives us a sense of the basic design of the character. So from the term basic, no? Kaya rough muna siya. So along with attitude, poses that help to tell the story of just who he is. In the case of the character like Beast, unique anatomy requires unique reference for artists working on the Beast team. Okay, so why is it important for us to create yung tinatawag natin na rough character concept model? Okay, especially yung character ni Beast, iba-iba yung ano niyan. Like for example, no, kung makikita natin yung character niya, okay, marami siyang anatomical requirements na kailangan since iba yung itsura niya. That's why, normally, this kind of character is first made in what we call rough model sheet muna or rough character concept model sheets. Okay? So, if this design is na-approve na, okay na siya, then the cleanup artist can start making the cleanup drawings for this one. Okay? Just like shown in the illustration on the board. The next type of model sheet is what we call the anatomical study model sheet. So when you say anatomical study model sheet, it gives animators a better idea of the structure that exists under all that hair. So another type of model sheets that can often generated early in the final design process. Okay, so as you can see in our example, again we have this. So when you say anatomical, this pertains to the shape of the body. Especially if your character's hairy, no? So normally nag-start muna tayo sa mga basic shapes niya. Just like in our shape or yung shape ni Beast mismo, no? Makikita natin sa drawings, nag-start sa mga tinatawag natin na basic shapes. So nag-start sa circle, yung mga ibang lines niya. So these are very important, especially if you are creating yung tinatawag natin yung mga characters na medyo kakaiba or example, hairy characters. You should first start with what we call anatomical study niya. No? The shape of the body, yung muscles, bone structure, etc. etc. Next is what we call the rough construction model sheet. It can sometimes focus only on details of a character, such as hair or even spots. This set of blind rider sheets were created by Glenn Ken for the film Tangled. I think napanood na to, no? So, one shows the underlying structure for the character, while the second presents the same poses, fully clothed. These 2D designs are great aids for building a 3D character. Okay? So normally in animation industry nowadays, it is very rare that we can see 2D animation just like the previous animation movies which are in 2D form. Yung 2D, like for example, the Bugs Bunny, what else? Yung mga naunang mga animation, yung Simba, napakaluman lang yan, no? We have, ano pa yung mga old animation. Okay, we have Beauty and the Beast. But now, no, most of the animation or Disney animation, Pixar animation, ang pinoproduce na nila is 3D. That's why yung tinatawag natin na rough construction model sheet is napaka-importante, no? Because this one focuses on the different movements. Okay? Yung angles, ano pa? Yung mga hair, no? Yung mga buhok, yung mga directions. Okay? So kaysa 2D, importante rin to, no? Yung rough construction model sheets. Just like shown in our, kung makikita natin dito sa ating example sa board. Next is what we call the rough model sheets. So these are created from the best studies or keys from the most successful scenes that have been animated of the character up to that point. So they often show action, expressions, and attitudes that best display the character's personality. Sometimes, a turn-around drawing, which also shows how many heads hide the character, can be added to the rough model sheet, which creates a rough version of all-in-one design. So makikita natin to class dito sa ating example na nasa board. Okay? Next is what we call the rough dialogue model sheet. So in this model sheet, it shows various mouth shapes that are created when the character is speaking. This one has the added benefit of also showing the range of emotion. Some characters are unique in that they aren't entirely constructed with recognizable anatomy. So this is just like the mouth chart, no? But normally, yung tinatawag natin na rough dialogue model sheet, it shows the head, okay? So normally kasama din dito yung tinatawag natin pwera sa mukha niya, sa bibig niya. It also shows the hand movement and normally the shoulder movement. Okay, let us now move to the next type of model sheet. We have fine line or clean up construction model sheet. So in this model sheet, it helps animators to see volume as well as structure or even the most cartoony of characters. So this one, no, makikita natin yung paggamit ng fine line, okay, or clean up construction lines. Okay, so in our example, it includes yung tinatawag natin mga contour lines, no? So makikita natin yung si Genie, okay, malaki yung chest niya. That's why the artist or the animator uses curved lines. So after creating the rough drawing of Genie, on the left side of the drawing, yung tinatawag natin na clean up drawings. Okay? So this one is ready for coloring, yung tinatawag natin na clean up. Okay? Let us now move to the next type of model sheet. We have turn around model sheet. So this type of model sheet is oftentimes na madalas na ginagamit, no? Especially sa mga beginning animators. So what is turn around model sheet? Many studios use one word, turnarounds, instead. When beginning your turnaround model sheet, it's usually easiest to start with either a forward-facing view or your character that has the proportions entirely worked out. So referencing the front view, line them up and use a ruler to map out corresponding points on their head, and the body is three-fourth view, side view, and back view. In our illustration shown, okay, it is best for us to start with the front profile or front view of the character. Okay? And then using a straight edge and a straight edge. So preferably, we are using, ano ginagamit natin dito? Ruler or T-square, pwede rin yun. Okay? So after creating the front model, okay, or the front profile of the anime, the character, okay, we can start making the side view of the character. So by using the lines, we can now refer to the size of the first model, no? Which is the front. And then, the next one, tinatawag natin na 3/4 view, we can make use of the side view, either the side view or front view, for us to create the model sheet. Okay? So in this way, proportion siya. Diba, gagawa ka ng animation na umiikot. So hindi nag-iba yung size niya, no? So that is the importance of creating a model sheet in animation. Okay? You can make use of the lines for us to create a proportional turnaround process. Okay, so let us now move to the next. We have fine line turnaround model sheet. So it's often helpful to other artists working on the project if your pose includes one bent arm and one that's straighter opposite, one bent leg and one that's straight. So this gives other artists more information when handling the limbs in different situations. So in creating a what we call a model sheet, it is better for you, no? Hindi kayo huwag tayong gumawa ng mga straight lang. Okay? Why? Kasi pag ginawa na ito, pag ginawa na yung mga tinatawag natin na sample in betweens, no? Ano pa importante na makita, like for example in our example, okay, in our illustration shown in the board, okay, isang kamay niya is nakataas, no? In this way, makikita natin yung size, no? Yung tinatawag natin na limbs, no? Yung size ng kanyang kamay, okay, yung size ng kanyang mga daliri, okay, what else? Yung pagtayo niya, dito, makikita natin class, kasi kung diretso lang to, no? Hindi natin makikita yung size ng legs niya. Kung diretso lang yung pagkakatayo ng character natin. Okay? So in creating model sheet, it is important that you can create not just a straight pose but lagyan natin ng konting movement yung ating model sheet. Alright, so that's all for our requirements for cleanup drawings and different types of model sheets. So after this discussion, expect an examination or assessment in this topic. And please watch the videos carefully, or that this video has something to do with your next activity. Okay, so thanks for watching and happy learning.